Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tanzil Mirza. Today we'll create an API for GitHub, and before we start with the demo, I want to point out that you have to have some prior knowledge of NodeJS and ExpressJS code and the environment as well. It's not that I'm going to write some rocket science code here or some next level code, so don't worry about that. The code will be very simple. I'm saying this because I don't want to waste your time going into the details of the server code itself. So you don't have to be an expert, but a very basic understanding will be very useful. Very basic understanding of the very basic commands of Node.js. So that will be more than enough. I'm saying all this because I want to concentrate on the GitHub part of this demo. So let's not waste our time into the actual Node.js or ExpressJS code. So I'll focus on the GitHub part. Okay, so today we'll create a very simple GitHub API. Today we'll create 3 endpoints. Let me show you those 3 endpoints. So those 3 endpoints will be one endpoint to fetch the information about a particular user. I'll use mine only. Okay, I'll use mine only. And second point will be to fetch the information about a repository of a particular user. Here again I'll use mine only. And the third one is also very simple, just some commit history of a repository of a particular user. So these 3 endpoints we'll try to create today. And today we'll need at least 3 or 4 things we need. So first thing first, we need Node.js and npm. We need this to be installed on our machine. Make sure it is installed on your machine. And the second thing we need is the Postman. We'll use Postman to test our API endpoints, okay, because we do not have any separate Angular or any other application. We'll not go into that. So let's use Postman, quick and easy, to test our API. And the third point is our GitHub account. You need to have one active GitHub account. That's it. Okay. So let's quickly check the versions. However, the version doesn't even matters here, but just like that only. Let's see what's the version. Okay. First thing, Node. .241, and let me check the version of npm as well. It's 6.14. and what else we need to check? Yeah, Postman, whether it will show like this or not, I'm not sure. Let's see. Oops, spelling mistake. Postman version. Okay, it opened it. Anyway, let's just minimize that and minimize this as well. Okay, let's now quickly create a new folder. I'll go into the documents and here I'll create mkdir. Let's call it Git API. Let's navigate into Git API. Okay, I'll open this in the VS Code. And I want this folder to be a node project. How do we do it? So that's why I asked in the very beginning that make sure you are well versed with at least the basic Node.js command. So to make this folder, make this project a node project, what we'll do, we'll just type this command npm init, hit enter. It will ask for some information. It is asking for the package name. I'm going to press enter, again enter, keep pressing enter. Okay, I don't want to fill in all these details, so just press enter and at last say yes. Okay, notice it has created one package.json. This is where we'll list down all those projects. We'll demand all those packages, I mean not the projects. We'll list down all the packages that we need. You know this thing, right? So let's go to the package.json first. Comma, dependencies, and the first thing we need is body parser, and the version I want is, yeah, this version I want. We also need something for cross origin. To handle the cross origin, I need this 2.8.5 is enough, I think. And one more thing I need. The most important thing is express. Okay. I think version 4.17.1 should be enough. So next step is to create the API endpoints, and to keep our code base clean, just to separate our server code from the actual endpoints, to make it clean code base, we'll create a separate folder called routes or routes, whatever. So I'll just quickly create one folder, and inside this folder I'll create one file called api.js. Here we'll be adding our API endpoints, but for now I'll just keep this file aside. Okay, close this. First thing first, we need to write our server code. So first we'll start with our server code. Let's quickly create one file in the root folder itself. I'll call it server.js. Okay, now let's quickly write the code. So now we'll import the packages, and not import in the terminology of Node.js, we'll call them require. First thing, const. That's why I was saying that make sure you are well versed with the basic ecosystem of Node.js. Body parser done. What else we need? Express const API, but just comment it out because we haven't created any code in API.js. It's an empty file, so our code will go here. Okay, and what else we need? Something we need for handling the course error, cross origin errors, and we'll call it course. Okay, app.use, use the body parser .json. App.use, and use what course you have to use. App.use function, and 3 parameters it will take: request, response, and next. Response dot, first of all we'll set the header, access control, allow, origin, and we want to allow all. That's why I'm passing asterisk here, or star, that means all. Set header, and request method. Now we'll add the request methods that we wish to allow. So this thing will remain the same. This part, allow methods, because we want to specify the methods that we want to allow. Those methods will be get, put, not put, post, options, maybe put also, yes, and patch. So in this particular demo, we'll not be using all these methods. Maybe just get will be enough for the basic understanding, but just add it. Maybe in future you want to modify the code, so I just wanted to show you that you can add these things also again. And now we want to specify the headers that we want to allow. X requested with content type, response.set header, allow credentials. And you need to set it to true. Set it to true if you want the website, if you need the website to include cookies in the request sent to the API. Okay, example, in your case it may be sessions, so just set it to true, and then pass to the next layer of middleware. So to do that, we'll just call one method called next. This being done, app.use API, call the API, app.get, sorry, I'm just repeating what I'm typing, request and response it will take. So the first parameter will be request and then second parameter will be response. Braces, response.send, what we want to send is server is up and running, that's it. And what else we need? App.listen, where it will listen. So it should be, I'll be running it at 3000. I'll tell you something about this code, just let me type it. Here we will say server listening, that's it. I think server is listening. Okay, so tomorrow if you are going to deploy this API on some server, on some deployment or some host, you just need to replace this. I'll add it a point here, replace 3000 with this thing, process dot environment dot port. Save the code. I think we are good to go now. Now the next part is to write the endpoints. And as I said, just to keep our code base clean, just to separate out the API endpoints from the actual server code, we have created a separate folder, separate file called API.js. Okay, I'll be calling this thing routes folder or root folder, whatever. And here in this API.js, I'll be writing the API endpoints. So again, we need to import some packages, and in the terminology of Node.js, we'll call it require. So the first thing we need is the express itself is to require express. Router is also required, and it is a part of express itself, calling a method, and then const https equals to require https. Okay, now we can write our endpoints, but before that we need to generate one access token from the GitHub. That's what I mentioned in the third point. in the prerequisites the GitHub account, because we need to have a GitHub account, that's for sure, and we need to generate a GitHub PAT. PAT stands for personal access token. This is required because when you are making some request from an application outside the GitHub, you need to authenticate it, no? Otherwise, if someone is it's a severe security issue, so you need to have a personal access token also. So I'll tell you how to generate it. For that, we need to go to the GitHub website, type GitHub. What happened? I'll not generate a new token. What is going on? 1 second. GitHub.com. Yeah. So I'll not generate a new token for me, as I've already generated one few months ago. So you can decide when the token will expire. So I have already generated one, but I'll still show you how you can generate yours. Okay. So you need to click here on your image, on your avatar, then settings. After setting, you can go to developer settings. From developer settings, you can go to OAuth apps. I think no, you can just click on GitHub apps, or maybe personal access tokens. From here you can generate one more. Yeah, you need to go to this personal access token, and yes, see, it is saying token you have generated that can be used to access the GitHub API. Now you can just click on generate new token. It will ask for password. What was my password? Yeah, just type in your password, confirm it. Okay, and here you need to fill up this small form. It says what is this token for. I'm just saying for learning purpose. Okay, and you can decide the token, the expiration date. The token will expire on Tuesday, November 23, 2021. You can go for no expiration also. Just keep it for 30 days or no expiration, whatever you want. Here so many things are there, but I'm interested in repo. I'm interested in, since the API that we are going to create right now, it's not very advanced, it's a very simple, very easy thing. So let's use this user also. Delete repo we don't need. Write discussion, okay, we can do this as well. I think this is enough. What else? These are some admin related controls. Delete packages, no, we don't need this level of code. Okay, workflow, update, upload, I think this is enough. Just some basic information about the repo, okay, and basic information about the user. This is also not required, but just click on generate token. I'm not going to hit the generate token because I've already generated one. I don't want to generate unnecessary token. So you just hit on this generate token and it will be generated here. It will appear somewhere here at this section. So just copy that, paste it somewhere, and make sure that you keep it safe somewhere, because once lost, this token cannot be retrieved. Then in that case, you will have to regenerate a fresh token. Okay, so for now I'll just click cancel. Okay, now let's go back to our API code and add the first endpoint. Now we are going to add our first endpoint, which is to fetch the information about any user. I'm referring to the first point, endpoint to fetch the information about a particular user. Okay, and when I say any user, that means user has to be dynamic, and in terms of API or GET request, this user will have to come as a parameter to the URL, in the URL. So we need to use the requested params property. I'll show you how to do that, and if you are already a Node.js programmer, you know what I'm talking about. So that's why I don't wanted to go into the details. Let's keep it simple. First endpoint, router. One disclaimer, guys, we are not creating any GitHub API from the scratch. We are just writing our API. So there is one GitHub API already, it's there. So on top of it, we are just creating our code, our wrapper. Our code will make a request to the GitHub API. Okay, router.get and GitHub, let's say GitHub, and I'll call it user info. And the dynamic thing, colon user, because this part will pass as a parameter into the URL while making the GET request. This being done. Okay, now the async function, and it will take two parameters, request and response, then the curly braces, const user is equals to, we need this part first. This part first. How do we fetch this part? We'll say request dot params dot user. Make sure this variable name and this variable name matches. Const. Now the options part. Host name. The host name. api.github.com. And now the path. Users, and then we'll append our user, this guy, this variable will append here. Okay, so your entire path will be like this: api.github.com, okay, users, and then the username. What's your username? Whatever, I'll use mine only. This will become your URL. Okay, let's remove it, and here it should be comma after path, then we'll send the headers. For now I'll just copy paste the header part. Okay, I have it here. I'll just copy paste it. I'm copy pasting this to save the time, and believe me, as of now there's nothing important to talk about headers in this demo particularly, and of course I'll provide this in the description below, so you can also just copy paste it from there. In fact, I'll push the entire code on GitHub, so don't worry about that. I'll push the entire repository on the GitHub. So after the headers, now comes the OAuth part. Okay, so this is the access token that we generated a couple of minutes ago. I'll paste mine, you'll have to paste yours. So it will go like OAuth colon, and the token will go here. Okay, now I'm going to paste my token. I have kept it somewhere, GitHub token.txt. Okay, just copy this part, the entire token, and paste it here. It should be like this. Done. Okay, OAuth is done. What else is required? Yeah, now we can just make the HTTP request. The GET request will make options function, and we'll call it API response. API response dot pipe response. On error E. This is just a callback function. Put it on console log E, and also I want to send status. I'll say let's say 500. something went wrong. Save the code, and I think we are good to go. So let's now test our code. But before testing the code, before running the server, we need to run this command. I haven't run this command yet. Npm install all, just call it npm I. Let it resolve all the dependencies. And yes, if you are aware of the Node.js environment, you should see, you know that you will get a node modules package here, a node modules folder over here. Let it complete, and yes, node modules we got. Let's try to run node server. Let's see if it has some errors. Okay, the API part, no, this thing I forgot to add. Let's go back to server, and this is the place we need to add it. Const API is equals to require. What is required? From the routes folder we need API.js. You don't need to mention the JS extension, it's understood. Save the code. Now let's run it again and see what happens. What it is saying, function code. Let me check, let me see. I think I know the issue. In API.js everything looks good, but one thing we forgot to do, module.exports is equals to router. Let's try now. Clear everything. Let's try again. Node server. Okay, it's running. Server is listing. Correct. Let's go to the Postman, and what it is saying. Okay, this is some update. I'll just dismiss it, and here HTTP, on which port it's running, localhost 3000. Okay, and the API endpoint will be API GitHub user info, and the username will be, I'll check mine only. This is the get request. HTTP, let's make everything is correct, make sure everything is correct. Localhost 3000 API GitHub user info, that looks correct. Send, and yes, it is, see, it is returning the correct response also. Login name is this, my ID is this, node ID, avatar URL. What is avatar URL? I'm just curious. Let's see what it is. Okay, that's my DP. Okay, so following HTML, everything is there, I think. Okay, this is my information, Tanzil Mirza, Phillips, blog, location, Bangalore, India. Yeah. Hireable, bio, Twitter username, everything. Public repos 42. Public is created ad, updated ad. See, everything I'm getting with that when I hit this endpoint. Okay, see, I'm getting all the required information. This is just the JSON format, key value pair. You know how to use it. Okay, and that's why I assume that you are well versed with Node.js environment and JSON thing and everything which comes along with it, so you can utilize this thing. Let's go back to the code, API code, and let's add few more endpoints. Okay, so I'll go back to the PPT. So this part we have already done. Okay, let's call it done, and now I'll be writing the code for second API endpoint, which is to fetch information about a repository of a user, repository of a particular user. So we'll go back to the API code. Let me copy paste. I'm copy pasting this thing because most of the code is same, only the URL will change, only this part and the path will change, and rest of the things will remain same. GitHub user info, instead of user info we'll call it repo info. Repo info colon user, followed by the I'll call it repo name, the repository name. Rest of the things will remain the same, and also the path will have to be changed. So instead of user we'll call it repos, it has to be repos plus user, concatenate it with the user, and after user we'll add one more thing, slash plus repo name. Okay, but of course repo name request, just like the way we are fetching the username, we'll use the repo name, we'll fetch the repo name also from the same params thing, from the URL. Okay, this looks good. Rest of the things will remain same, nothing else need to be changed. Save the code, stop the server. I should have used nodemon, but I just don't want it to complicate the things. Let run it simply. Node server, go back to the postman, change the URL repo info tm tanzil. One of my repo is Angular Twitter. Let me press send and see what happens. And yes, it has returned me all the required information. See, it has got all the information, owner, login. Okay, this is me. What else is there? HTML. I think if you click on this URL, it will take you to the repository also. Yeah, see, so it's not only the key, not only the string or message part, you will also get the hyperlinks. So you can utilize it, you can harvest these hyperlinks into your Angular template or React template, whatever you want, as hyperlinks you can use, like an anchor tag or anything you want to try. So it will take you there also. Fork is for, let's see what all information is there. Branches, assignees, events, hooks. See, yeah, pull URLs. What are these? Okay, anyway, so my point is that you will get all the information here. Now let's quickly add the third endpoint also. So that being said, we have completed this as well. This is also done. Now we'll write the endpoint for the last endpoint, which is to fetch the information about the commits of a repository of a user. Again, we'll go back to the API code, API file, and I'll copy paste this thing, and rest of the things will remain same. What we need to change it, I'll call it commit info. So first we had user info, then we had repo info, now we have commit info. And username and repo name, yeah, we need this. Rest of the things will remain same, and path, user, repo name, and after repo name we need to add, concatenate this part. I'll call it commits. Save the code, rerun the server, go back to the postman, and from here we can just tweak this. Commits, hit enter. What happened? Let me check. Stupid mistake, it has to be commit info, no? Let's try again. Now what's wrong? Is the URL correct or not? GitHub API. API GitHub. Okay, this looks good to me. What is the, let me check it again. So the URL should become repos. Okay, githubapi.com. This thing. This part we need commit info. After GitHub we need commit info, user, and repo name. What's wrong with this then? Okay, let me see what's the issue. Let's go back to the URL and see how it is formed. GitHub commit info, user, repo name. Okay, I got it. I got it. Why I'm not supposed to add commits at the end, no? Why I'm adding commits? Remove commits. And also one more thing is there. It has to be commit info, not repo info. Okay. So just be careful while you make request. Just make sure that you are making request to the correct endpoint. So this has to be there. Like this. Now let me press send again, and yes, now I'm getting the correct response also. Okay, so now we are getting the correct response. So, and yeah, see, it's working. So this is how we can fetch, this is how you can fetch the information from GitHub. For more details, you can refer to the official GitHub documentation. Let me show you that quickly. It should be very simple. If you type on Google GitHub API doc, yeah, here it is. Here it is, API documentation. So yeah, you can take help from this documentation. REST API, this and that, you have everything here. Basics of authentication, getting started. So you have everything here. But believe me, the three API endpoints that we just created just now in this demo, these are more than enough. That will cover most of the part. That will provide you almost 99% of the information that you need. So you don't have to create a separate third endpoint until and unless you want to make an API to make changes into your repo or commits or anything. So for fetching the basic information, these three endpoints are more than enough. And I'm saying this with confidence because of a personal experience. I have one application, I'll show you that. I have an Angular application running live. It's socialcodaheroku.app.com. Let it load. Okay, it has loaded. Yeah, see. So on the footer, I'm showing the recent commits and the messages. And I'm using the same API, exactly the same API and endpoints that we created in this demo. And let me go back to the JSON response and show you the exact keys, the key value pair. So these are the key value pair. I've showed you this thing. So this not only provides the messages but also provide the links. So these links you can use as hyperlinks in your code. Okay, let's go back to the application. Okay, so if you click on these messages, I'm pretty sure it will take you to the, yeah, see here. So it will take you to the right spot. Okay, so that simple it is. So with this we have reached the end of our demo. That's all I had to show you today. And yeah, let's sum it up. So you need to create one server code, and then with the server we have an API. We created one API file where we added our API endpoints, and then yes, we used Postman to do this. What else we need to sum up? I think we are good to go now. This is enough. And yeah, so if you have any doubts, please leave a comment below. I'll be happy to pitch in. And thank you so much guys. Thank you so much for watching this video.